just because you win the Oscars for best movie, you're not an all-time movie. It could be an all-time moment. And I think this moment in time, a week east, Denver knocked out, Dallas a little over their skis as a 5 seed. It's a moment in time. This is a great, Chris Broussard did this yesterday. He said, you can go back to the Dr. J got Moses Malone team. It wasn't a dynasty, but for a year or two, they were really, really great. Mm-hmm. Is that how you classify this Celtics team?
Well, listen, I don't want the first thing I say on TV post them winning the championship to be downplaying them. So I will answer your question eventually, but I first want to say this. This is a great team in this moment in time, and those of us, and I raise my hand, that doubted this team, doubted them mostly because we said, well, they've got a lot of good players, a couple very good players, but they don't have any historically great players, and history tells us that you can't win a championship that way. This finals, to me, validated their lack of historically great players, but it also validated the way they built their full team to make it not matter that Jason Tatum didn't have a great series. It didn't matter that Jaylen Brown struggled from 3. It didn't matter that how about this, Colin? This to me is a stat no one has said until this very moment, but it speaks to how brilliant they were defensively. The fewest points the Boston Celtics scored in any 5-game stretch all season were the 5 games of the NBA Finals, and they rolled to a title. Yeah. Think about what that means. Offensively, they just had their worst 5-game stretch of the year, and they won pretty easily in 5 games. Yeah. Why? Because they can guard 1 through 5. They have no weaknesses in that starting lineup. There are a lot of similarities, to me, to the 2004 Detroit Pistons. Not stylistically, but as far as no weaknesses in the starting lineup. You don't know who's going to be the best offensive player any given night. 4 of your 5 starters can give you 20 at any moment, and they are so connected and so great defensively that they crush you. So that's all the compliments. Now, to answer your question, when we say all-time great, what do we mean? There have been 77 NBA champions. Are we saying they're one of the 10 greatest teams? Well, they're clearly not that. Right. Are we saying they are one of the 25 greatest? Okay, maybe. Like, if you want to say this is the 24th best team in NBA history, so be it. But when the question I would ask the audience is, are you convinced this year's Celtics are better than last year's Nuggets? No. I'm not. I think that's an argument either direction. Right. Last year's Nuggets were not an all-time team. Right. So there are no buts about it. They won the championship. No one in the future will care about the path, injuries, any of that. They won the damn title. Yeah. But do I think they're a historic team? No, I don't think we've had a historically great team since the KD Steph Warriors. I don't think any champion since then has been historically great.
You know, I said about Luka, I said the threshold between great bucket getter and champion is different. Duncan, Michael, and Magic, 16 titles. They were foundational leaders. Like defensively, Magic, not a great defender, but there is a huge gap between Iverson and LeBron. Both get buckets. And Luka looked overweight most of the year, looked tired in the finals. I mean, when Jalen Brunson leaves and not only flourishes, becomes a superstar in the league, he's maybe not the easiest guy to play with, perpetually barking at refs.
I don't know. Kyrie seemed to get along with him pretty well. Kyrie couldn't get along with any player for 5 years. Kyrie played his best basketball in 6 years. I won't abide this, Colin. I mean, you talk about Luka being overweight. It hurt him so badly. He led the league in scoring. He had his 5th straight All-NBA first-team year, and he dragged the Mavs to the finals In all of NBA history, as of a year ago, the only person ever to lead the playoffs in points, rebounds, and assists was Jokic last year. There is now a second person on that list. It's Luka Doncic, and he led the playoffs in steals. Like, there are Kyrie struggled in all 3 games in Boston. The Mavs role players, none of them played up to their playoff standard. Now, did Luka, for them to win the title, they needed A+ basketball from Luka. They did not get that. That is totally legitimate. But the idea that we are going to use this season at age 25 years old to do anything other than build up the legend of Luka Doncic is insane to me. He has gotten further in the playoffs at this age than Michael, than LeBron, than Giannis, than Jokic, than Steph.
Right.
He has gotten as far in the playoffs at this age as Durant. The guys Kobe, Duncan, Magic, who got further at this age, had a Hall of Famer in their prime alongside them. The Luka stuff is not, this is not the time to go after Luka. Now, what he lost his opportunity, Colin, to be the best player in the world. That's Jokic now until further notice, pardon me. But if you have a top 3 and Luka's not in it, your top 3 is invalid. So if you don't have him as one of the 3 best players in the world, I don't know what to tell you.
Looked a little puffy to me, a little fatigued. But you know that...
Yeah, he needs to get in better shape. Yeah. He does. But you know what can tire people out? Carrying this team to the NBA Finals. And he's never has the greatest cardio. That he does need to improve. There's no doubt about that. He needs to improve that. But I do think where he wouldn't use the injury as an excuse, I think the injury made him look slower than he actually was. But yeah, to get to the next level, he needs to get in slightly better shape. But my point is the next level is clear-cut best player alive. If he stays at this level, he's going to be one of the 25 greatest players of all time.
So I was, it was interesting when Aaron missed the mini camp. And I said yesterday, and I've said this before, never married, no kids, not sure he has a pet. As you get older and richer, you can get a little self-absorbed. Like, wives, kids, sacrificing. So I've seen this in the media. I've seen it in sports. So if Aaron didn't want to go there, but to be a foxhole guy, the GM missed on a quarterback and a left tackle. The coach is on the hot seat. You have an offensive line that's brand new that won't play much in the preseason because old offensive linemen don't. And an old receiver coming in and 2 new ones. And I said, you would just show up for the team. Like, if we were having a morale-building 3-day seminar, I think I'd show up for the FS1, event. You'd show up. You'd show up, if not for yourself. It's not a learning event for me. It's a team thing. It does sort of rub me the wrong way. It's like, Aaron, you played 4 snaps last year. You got to.
Colin,
am I nuts?
I think you're being a little too gentle. If the reports are true, hey, give me in 10 words or less what happened with Aaron Rodgers last week. The answer is skipped work to do drugs. I don't really need a longer story than that. Now, I'm like that I know that, and people are like, oh, Nick, get with the times. Guys,